Guys, 2023 was a banger of a year. It seemed like for a little while there was banger after banger release, game after game, tons of games to talk about. Today we're going over our our best, our favorite games, and then our most disappointing games. And a couple other things sprinkled in here and there of things we liked throughout 2023, and then looking forward into 2024, what we hope to see, what we're planning on doing with our YouTube channels, all that good stuff. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. And obviously, as every week, we got the man, the myth, the old school legend. What's up, old school?
Yo, yo, yo.
And how you know it's a special episode? We got the man to my left, I guess. You're right. I don't know. But Rhino, what's up, Rhino? I'm glad that you were able to climb up out of hell for this special occasion.
Oh, you know what? I got tired of sitting in the cave.
Sitting in a cave and
They let the chains off me.
Hard.
Oh yeah.
My man came up for a Christmas ham dinner because he's been eating gruel down there. So
yeah,
and all they have is leftover Thanksgiving turkey, guys.
Yeah,
that shit's
from
spoiled.
a month ago.
Green eggs.
People getting food poisoning. Man,
there is no fresh food in hell, man. It's all spoiled gruel. Yeah, at least you're not getting fat on it.
That's one way to look at it.
Better than demon bone marrow.
Man, guys, 2023 is almost at a close. How do we feel about it?
That's I don't know, man. I kind of feel like just yesterday it was, December 2022. Yeah. So time is going by fast as all hell. We had a lot of big changes this year in the old school legend household. And I'm looking forward to 2024, man. Let's get the show going.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping 2024 can keep up the same hype as 2023, but I doubt it because 2023 was a banger year for video games and stuff.
It really was. And I think at this point last year, we already had an idea of a good chunk of releases that were going to be coming out for this year in 2023. We're closing out 2023, and I really haven't heard too much about any stuff coming out for 2024.
I haven't either. Rhino,
yeah, isn't GTA 6 coming?
That's in 2025, brother.
Well, 2024 will go just as fast as 2023, so I think we'll be all right.
It feels like as I get older, and especially now that I have a little kid around, that every year just seems to go by faster and faster. I'm with you 100%. It feels like just yesterday it was 2022, and we're just starting off 2023, and it's crazy how time flies when you're an old geezer like us.
Yeah, for sure. And let me get your guys' take on this, man. I'd be interested to what you have to say. So a lot of let's take the VGAs for an example. We saw a lot of world premieres and a lot of like new games being released, or not released, I'm sorry, shown off. There wasn't really anything. There really hasn't been anything that I've seen that has gotten me excited to the point where I'm like, oh man, like I can't wait to hear more about that. So I don't know if it's just like the way gaming is going and a lot of stuff that's coming out just doesn't interest me, or maybe it's just because I'm getting older and like my interests are going backward to the more nostalgic feel. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, all that other stuff.
I think it's partially due to the way games are being made now with like the new CODs, Fortnites and all that. These multiplayer games that are trying to bring in all the microtransactions. We don't have as many big single player hitters that are just remarkable for their storytelling, I think. So they're not leaving a bigger imprint. And then when you do get those games, they're every 7 years. So they just don't come every year. But I'm with you. It doesn't seem like enough memorable. But I will exclude one for next year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, hands down, waiting for it. Day one buy. I want to buy the collector's edition, but I'm a poor boy and I don't feel like spending $300 for Sephiroth.
Yeah, yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that all too well.
Dude, I agree with you 100%. I feel like I've been more into, like, I was pretty heavy about 5 to 10 years ago into the online multiplayer gaming scene and everything. I love just online gaming, but the past 5 years or so, I've enjoyed just a single player uh experiences on, like, the PS5 specifically. Sony does it best in my opinion with the single player stories. I feel like the older games are more appealing to me, are more appealing to us nowadays, I think, because we're getting older, because it's not just nostalgia, but it's the fact that when games came out when we were kids, they had to be complete finished products that were just bangers right out of the gate, because there was no day one updates, there was no um, fixing the game as time went on. Nowadays, they could release a AAA game and it's complete garbage. It won't run on uh, high end PCs, let alone the consoles made for. Just too many glitches, and they put out the games in a state where it's not even playable because they want to make a buck. Like, oh, just put it out, we'll fix it. Don't worry about it. We'll make money off it regardless. Um, and some studios like Cyberpunk 2077, for instance, with CD Projekt Red, they made right on their word, and it's a phenomenal game now. But in the beginning, it absolutely sucked. So, and I'm the type of person, I got it almost day one. I got it Christmas the year it came out, and I did, like, it was unplayable for me. So I put it down. I never really went back to it until the PS5 version came out, and I started playing it this year. But because there were so many bangers that were coming out, I didn't get as far as I wanted to in it. I still haven't went back and played it. Um, so yeah, I think that's kind of why we're not so heavy into the new age gaming these days, and rather just go retro with what we know.
Yeah. And for me, another thing too is the game links that are coming out. Listen, man, I love an open world game. Love them. But
Mm,
those are super duper long. And me as somebody with no children, I tend to have a lot more leniency and a lot more time as far as gaming goes. But even then, there's so many times where these like 70, 80, 100 hour games are just too much. So what I really enjoy about going back and playing a Nintendo game or a Super Nintendo game is the length. So it's almost like, if I feel like man, you know what? I feel like gaming. Let me throw something on the NES. It's almost like a gaming snack rather than
hmm
like a gaming 8 course meal.
That's true.
That's very true. Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 is one that I'd like to play, but it takes a significant amount of time to learn the mechanics, I think, for someone who's never played any of them.
Yep.
Mhm.
Uh, and then play through the story, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And it holds it back, but I want to play it at some point.
I feel like developers nowadays too are much into the microtransactions and how to beat a dead horse, how to bleed it dry or whatever, for lack of a better word. I don't know, but how can we get you to pay $70 for a game and then just keep getting you to pump more and more money into it as time goes on? And I'm all down for DLC, like paid DLC for 20, $30 um, a year after a game's been out, just to kind of breathe new life into it or something. But to release new things and withhold content from a finished product game at release just to sell it back to you 2 or 3 months after the game comes out is just ridiculous. And I'm getting sick of it. That, to be honest with you, that's why, these newer games that come out, 9 times out of 10, I won't even give them the time of day if it looks like that type of game.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I want to argue that one real quick because as a kid growing up playing video games, there's a lot of times where I'm like, man, I wish this had a different skin or I could change the outfit of my character, which there wasn't a lot of that back in the day. More customization built into the game. Uh, and they knew that. They brought it out. That's exactly what Fortnite is. Nothing mechanically game. It's all cosmetic, and I love it. It's just so more pricier than I think it should be to have that one cool thing, and then soak
Yeah.
us with thousands. Uh, and that's what's tough. Uh, but yeah, it just got manipulated to such a deep level where it's like it's just too much. A
Yeah.
couple outfits would have been cool, but now it's just not worth it.
So in Fortnite's case, like if it's a free to play game, I don't have a problem with microtransactions like that, as long as it doesn't
I
affect
agree.
gameplay or anything like that. But I do have a problem with, like you said, the amount of money this stuff costs for digital goods that once the game goes offline, you don't have anything to show for it. I don't think skin should any skin, or whether it's a premium skin or what, should be more than $1 or 2. Um, and then the little things they put into the game to make you spend more money, like this skin costs uh I don't know, 4,000 V-bucks, whatever. I don't know what the ratio is, dollars to V-bucks, but you need 4,000 V-bucks for this skin. $10 gets you 3,000 V-bucks, but $20 gets you 6,000 V-bucks. So okay, I'll
Dude,
I'll pump
that's
$20 into the
frustrating.
game. Yeah, I'll pump $20 into the game, get that one skin, and then I don't have any V-bucks left to get anything else.
Yeah.
So you have to put more money in. So you're up $40 then. And I hate that. I hate that whole thing, but the game is free to play, so I do play it with you occasionally. Not so much these days, but um, I'm not as mad about that as I am paying $70 for a game and then still be pumped with that same type of tactic.
Yeah, remember the days of Guitar Hero and Rock Band when those games dropped. And let's talk about the PS3 and the 360 versions because those are the ones where you could get the DLC from.
Mhm.
Um, you paid $60, $70, $80, whatever the price was for the game with the guitar, and then they started releasing song packs. But each song that was coming out was $1.99. iTunes has the same song for like 99 cents. Some of the songs were like 50 cents. Um, so why is it $2 on the Xbox Live Marketplace or the PlayStation Store just specifically for this game? So to me, that always sucked. I had a friend back in the day
Hmm.
who was obsessed with Rock Band, Guitar Hero, all that stuff, and I would say all in all, he probably dropped several $1,000s on song packs and everything else. And it was just something he liked, and I got it, it was cool. For me, I was always fine with whatever came on the disc. And, if somebody came over to play and they're like, hey, do you got, the Beatles, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Do I have to pay extra for that shit? Yeah. No, I don't have
Yeah,
it
yeah.
Yeah.
then.
No, I get that. And just off the top of my head, a reason for that, like you said, 99 cents on iTunes compared to like $2 on Xbox or PS3. And I don't know for sure, but it might be because on iTunes, yeah, you just get the song, but on the game, you have to pay for their licensing of that song plus the graphics and the stuff that they put into the game to match the song. So
Yeah,
that's why it
yeah.
might be a little more expensive, just off the
I,
top of
I
my head.
I could see that, but that was the first like example that I could think of was like something
Hmm.
like that, or a better example would actually be Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. So this is a game that I spoke about previously, where you buy the base game for $60, and you've got maybe like 8 characters. So they have a new character pack for an additional $30. I mean, damn, okay. Or you could just buy like piecemeal characters that were like $5 each. So either way, like you're dropping cash. So let's say you turn around and you're going, let me buy the deluxe version that already comes with the character pass in it. Well, that's like $100. Okay, cool. But now
Yeah.
like the new skin pack comes out. Oh, hey, you want new skins? You want to change it up a bit? Here's an additional like $20. Or if you just want a couple of skins, they're like 250 a piece or something like that. To me, that's ridiculous. But people are free to spend their money how they want to. Me personally, nah, man, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's very rare that I'll pay any additional money on any. in-game content, digital only content.
Sure. I've spent some money on Fortnite. Mainly
Fortnite's different, yeah.
buying the season pass and having the availability to put time in and get that money back to buy the next one. I respect that. You got to put the time in though, but you have to have time to play it.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening with that is it soaks up so much of your time to do that, you no longer have time for that single player game or that other game because now you're trying to grind a battle pass to get enough money to get the next one whenever the season comes out. I had to quit doing that after a while and just kind of change my mindset on that because missed out on a lot of games just doing that.
Yep.
So, so speaking of the games, man, you guys want to jump into some of the best games we played for 2023?
Let's do it. Who wants to go first?
I
I
want to go
probably
before Mike or old school. Sorry.
You want to go
I
before Mike? Old school?
Yeah,
who is Mike? My
Yeah.
name is Old School.
Mike Wazowski.
My name is Old School. Last name Legend.
Mr. Legend?
I could go first because I know for sure I've got a lot more than the two you guys got.
Well, how about you go last, because I just want to run through my bullet points quick.
I mean, I'm totally fine with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't need to go first. So
Okay, because you have the most information. You're gonna take us home with this topic right here.
Yeah, they call you the legend for a reason, not Mike.
Yeah. So my top game, favorite game of the year, hands down, no questions asked, Tears of the Kingdom. The way they took an already established world in Breath of the Wild and then completely flipped it on its head, almost exactly, because the depths were like the mirrored version of above. Is absolutely phenomenal. The ultra hand mechanic and then building things out of material you find around the world, absolutely awesome. Took Breath of the Wild and almost made an entirely brand new game, new story and everything with Tears of the Kingdom. And the story is amazing as well. I'm glad I went and I think I took your advice, Old School, and went and got all the dragon tears before I finished the game. So it kind of added more depth to the story, and that was phenomenal. Love that. Um, Hogwarts Legacy came out in February, and I played
oh,
through that. Um, that was something I didn't know if I was gonna like. I watched some videos when it first came out on YouTube about it, and it like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Um, I went and picked it up for the PS5. Phenomenal. I was not a big Harry Potter fan going into it. I'd never watched any of the movies. When I was a kid,
What?
I didn't. I watched probably half of the first movie and that
oh
was it.
man.
But I got into the world, and the way they built the world out and the story and everything was just freaking awesome. I loved that game. That I loved it so much I went back and I watched the first 4 movies over the course of like 3 weekends. I didn't finish the series. I didn't finish the last 4 movies. Still on my to-do list, but I did. And that's saying something for me who's never been a Harry Potter fan. So that game was awesome. Dead Island 2. If you ask me right after I finished my playthrough, which is on the channel, what I thought about the game, I would have said I hated it. But in retrospect, thinking about this list, I think it's one of my favorite games of the year because um, the gameplay was pretty engaging and fun. The graphics, like there were so many different ways to kill a freaking zombie. It was crazy. Why I hated it when I first played it was because of the difficulty. Um, the major bosses, specifically towards the late game you get into, are just bullet sponges, and it takes forever to kill them. And then fighting hordes of zombies that come almost out of nowhere. It's like, what is going on here? Regular zombies on the road are super OP, and it's extremely frustrating. But looking back on it, it's a great game. Um, and then this game did not come out. My last one did not come out in 2023. Came out years ago, but I just got back into it in 2023, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. Red Dead Redemption 2. Great game, great build up, great world building or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's my list. Red Dead Redemption 2 is phenomenal. I can't believe I didn't finish it when I first got it.
That's a long one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Red Dead Redemption 2 is on my to complete list. So maybe that'll happen in 2024.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any of my lists because it's so long. It's just one of those games I have to be like, let's, everything else is out of the window. I want to try it, and then I'll play it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's
because it's
fair.
a
That's
huge
fair.
time sink.
If Spider-Man 2 didn't come out when it did, I would have probably finished Red Dead Redemption 2 because I was playing that right up until Spider-Man 2's release. But what you
Shout out
got,
to
Rhino?
Insomniac.
Yeah. What you got,
Uh,
Rhino?
yeah, man, I'm gonna start off the same as you. With Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, I agree with pretty much all your points. The creativity that came from two is amazing. I mean, the ability to really utilize the world. Coming out of the first one, I didn't expect it. I thought it was gonna be something new. Maybe we get to play as Zelda herself. Uh,
Mhm.
but no, they definitely took a world and truly evolved it into something more fun, realistically. And that's what I love about the Switch. They're just absolutely fun games to play. Which leads me to number two, which was Mario Wonder.
Mm.
Uh, I've I think Odyssey was the real last one I played, other than maybe Mario Party and um, Mario Kart. I'll play that every once in a while with the girls. But Mario Wonder was the newest one that's in a 2D side scroller that I actually played and enjoyed. Uh, and I didn't go through the whole extra ultimate challenges, but I think it was really well done. Really fun levels, some creativity gone into that as well. So it's worth a play if you have a Switch. I'd say definitely pick it up. Uh, and I didn't get as much gaming in this year, but one of the ones that I made sure I played for sure, which was Final Fantasy 16. It's a love-hate relationship, but it looks phenomenal. I mean, cinematics, the big, huge fights. I mean, I guess Square Enix, it's Final Fantasy, go big or go home. Uh, but a little controversial on the gameplay and the fighting. But overall, I think it's a solid play if you're going to play through one time and you really like the Final Fantasy universe. And as a first comer, it has a different battle style. So I at least give them some kind of uh, award for pushing into new areas and trying to find out new ways to innovate. Uh, so it may not be the absolutely best Final Fantasy, but hopefully it leads into another one that's one of the greatest of all times. Final Fantasy X.
Hey.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. I mean, that's my three: Zelda, Mario, and Final Fantasy 16 for 2023.
Nice. Good list. Good list. I like it.
All right. I guess it's my go.
Hmm.
So let me start off by saying I tend to have a little more gaming time as I'm not a parent. My wife goes to bed relatively early because she has to be up relatively early. So I work from home and I tend to stay up pretty late. So usually when the wife goes to bed, that's when I'm up playing gaming up until like 1, 2 in the morning. Um, but I do tend to mark down the games that I've beaten throughout the year. That way I could make sure I cross them off my backlog. Um, I do replay a lot of stuff, but this year I was able to do some first time gaming on some of these titles here. So all in all, in 2023, I was able to beat 15 games.
Woo,
Um,
that's impressive.
Out of the 15, there was three that stood out to me the most. Um, and I got a lot of first times in. So in January, the first game I beat starting off 2023 was Halo. And this was the first time I'm playing Halo. And this was done on the Master Chief Collection on the
Oh, okay.
Xbox, on the Series S. Um, I got to be honest, man. I thought Halo was pretty mid. I really enjoyed Halo Reach, and then I got to the first Halo game, and it I I finished it, and I had no interest in going and playing two. So I'm kind of disappointed about that. I might go ahead and jump into two in 2024. We'll see what happens. Um, my second game is Diablo 2 Resurrected. I played Diablo 2 like back in the day. That's actually my favorite Diablo. And now with the Resurrected collection that came out for the PS4, PS5, Series X, Xbox One, it was great to revisit that game again with updated visuals and higher frame rates on the 5 at least. Um, and then after Diablo 2, I went back and I replayed Diablo 3 because I was getting ready for Diablo 4 because that was going to be a day one purchase, but that ended up not happening. Um, then in February, another first time was UFC Undisputed 3.
Ooh,
I'm a huge MMA fan, and I've got all of the UFC games that came out on the PlayStation 3 and the 360. Supposedly, UFC Undisputed 3 is the best out of all three of them. I had never played it up until this point. So I went through it. I liked it enough to start the career mode. I went through the career mode, had a ton of fun, and I think eventually at some point I'm probably going to replay the career again, and that might actually become a stream. I might actually record that footage and throw that up on the channel.
that'd be dope.
Um,
How's the story mode in that? Is there like cinematics and stuff in there?
they have some cinematics from like fights and everything, but they have like legacy fights. So let's say like George St. Pierre versus BJ Penn. That was a big feud that happened, and they'll show like clips and everything like leading up to like their fight. They'll show clips of the actual fight they had, and then you have the option to play as George St. Pierre or BJ Penn, and redo the fight in the game. So
Nice.
that's not necessarily the story mode. The story mode is you start off as like a created character, and you start in the little gyms, fighting small arenas, and then eventually like Dana White catches your eye, and then you start fighting in the UFC. Then eventually you start like you get to challenge for the championship, and essentially once you win the championship is like the end of the story mode.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. That was a ton of fun. Um,
Nice.
so jumping into March, Metroid Prime Remastered. Um, I love Metroid Prime, and when I saw they were coming out with that remastered, it actually came out I think in December of 2022. But at this time, this is when the physical release came out. So I always get physical, so I picked up a physical copy, played through that. That's going to be the first of my top three games that I played for 2023. Um, Then we're jumping into April, Dark Souls 2 on the Xbox One. That's actually the first time I've played through Dark Souls 2 on the Xbox One. And then just for the hell of it, because I was like, let me go back and do it. I played Dark Souls 2 on the PS4.
For the 18th time, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair.
So that we roll over to June and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, you guys said it all already. Phenomenal game, just tons of fun, great story. Went ahead, finished that, and that's actually going to be the second of the best games that I played for 2023. Um, Jumping again in June, I first time Mafia Definitive Edition.
Mm.
This is a game that I had been wanting to get into for a while, and for whatever reason, I just kept putting it off and putting it off, putting it off. Finally jumped into it and had a blast with it. Really enjoyed the game. Um, Jumping into July, Final Fantasy 16. We'll talk more about Final Fantasy 16 a little bit later. Um, and then
It's
I
that
had
kind
a
of game.
bit, yeah, yeah. And then I had a pretty big jump because during the summertime we moved, had a lot of stuff going on, so I went from July all the way to September. Um, the next game I beat was actually on September 11th, and it was a first time playthrough of Twisted Metal on the PS3. Um,
Mm.
so I'm a big fan of Twisted Metal. When I first got this game, I didn't really understand it, and it was very hard, and I didn't like it. So I knew with the show coming out on Peacock, I really like. I was like, maybe this is a good time to try to beat this game. Let's go ahead and play through it. And this time around, I understood the game, I got it, and while it was still difficult, I enjoyed it. Probably, in my opinion, the hardest of all the Twisted Metal games, but it got a little frustrating at times, but I powered through. I got it. Um, so now from September, we're going to October, and this is actually my third of. I mean, this isn't really a game; it's DLC. But Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty,
Hmm.
I man, I freaking fell in love with Phantom Liberty. So good, so freaking good. You have the option of changing the canon ending from the original game, and the ending that you could get, the canon ending that you now get from beating Phantom Liberty is just, oh man, so freaking good. Like, I want to tell you guys about it so bad, but I don't want to drop any spoilers.
It's
Um,
one of those Titanic situations where Jack is saved finally. Like, get on the board,
uh,
bro.
yeah, you know. So we got then after that, I just went through and I played through the Cyberpunk main game again on PS5 this time. Um, Great game, love Cyberpunk. Most recent, no, not most recently, but in November, I in-laws were over. We were downstairs chilling, and I was like, you know what, man, let me grab my Vita. They're all watching TV, something that I wasn't interested in, and I fired up the PS Vita, man, and I was playing Windjammers. Um, don't know if anybody really knows about Windjammers, but it's a frisbee
Mm.
game. It's kind of like a pong frisbee game. So pretty much you're on the left side, your opponent's on the right side, and you got to come with creative ways to get your frisbee over into the opponent's goal. Super super fun, sprite artwork. This was a game back in the day on the arcade. Really fun. Played through that. That was a quick playthrough. And then finally, the final game that I beat for 2023, and this is a first time playthrough also, is Grand Theft Auto 4.
Woo, yeah.
Yep. And I liked it. It's not my favorite Grand Theft Auto. Back in the day when I played it, I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. It just didn't do it for me. I picked it up for the 360, playing it on the Xbox Series X. Got increased frame rate, increased visuals, and it was really fun. I had a lot of fun playing it, so I'm glad I got to do that.
Yeah,
With GTA 4, I'm not a GTA player guy, but I know there's controversy over like which one's the best in the series. Where does 4 rank? I guess in the general population of the games.
For me personally, so I haven't played 5 yet. I'm actually in the process of
Okay.
playing through 5, so I can't, I can't put that ranking in there. But for me, if I'm going by, and the other thing is, like, I don't really count the first two Grand Theft Autos,
No. Well, that's true.
just
They're
because of
2D or
yeah,
something.
they're like the overhead like
Yeah.
isometric type. So to me, it's just they're so different than 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. But if I had to rank the 4 of them, Grand Theft Auto comes in fourth place for me.
Grand Theft Auto 4 comes in fourth place.
Correct.
Okay.
With
Yeah.
Oh, I
GTA,
see what you did there. Oh.
so GTA 3 is going to be number one.
Yep.
Vice City is going to be number two. So pretty
Yep.
much like the order of release,
Yeah.
San Andreas is 3, and then Grand Theft Auto 4 would be 4 in my ranking.
So I have played GTA 5 all the way through when it first released. And I'm playing through it now. A couple nights a week I might fire it up and I'll play a few missions. I can honestly say GTA 3 is my favorite of all time because it is nostalgia heaven for me. That's my favorite. But GTA 5 is probably my second favorite of all time. And then Vice City, San Andreas, and GTA 4. Um, Vice City and San Andreas are amazing games. They're great. I love them. Um, but I have to put GTA 5 just because of the sheer scale and stuff you're able to do in that game.
Yeah, I'm digging 5. I had to stop playing it for a little while because I was kind of getting bored with it. Because again, it's kind of like the same stuff over and over again. But there's one point where I just got in a car as Michael, and I was
Mhm.
just driving around like the entire city, just kind of exploring everything. And I'm playing on the PS5, and I mean, the game is gorgeous, man. Like the
Yeah.
backgrounds, like the storefronts, the houses, the trees, and everything. I mean, it's a really, really, really pretty game. And on the PS5, man, it runs buttery smooth. So that always helps, man. Driving around in 60 frames per second, it's That's pretty nice. So I think eventually it's going to be pretty easy for me to finish up.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah.
I intend to
The
jump
story is
in on
great
number
too.
6. I don't know about the rest of them. I
You never
tried
played
5, it
5,
didn't work
Luke?
out. I did. I played the first 30 minutes 5
Oh.
times and quit. And that was my only attempt, realistically. Of There was something wrong with the mission. You kind of go through the bank and you got to escape or something, and you do like a getaway. But there was always a glitch or something, and I would play just long enough to jump in the multiplayer, and check out multiplayer, and then I would quit, and then next thing you know, I had to start the game all over again. I'm like, no, thank you. So it just didn't work out for me. But 6 looks. You're talking about 5 looking amazing. 6 looks good. I think I have to play it just for that alone.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully it lives up to that number 3 GTA 3 hype that you guys are talking about.
Yeah. So let's jump to the other end of the spectrum, man. So we did like our best stuff for 2023. How about some of the disappointments for 2023?
Yeah. Getting to the meat and potatoes. So, and this hurts me to say, but my most disappointing game, maybe not most disappointing, but one of my disappointing games of 2023, Spider-Man 2. I
That's
was
a
hyped.
Oh,
I was so hyped for this damn game. I was all in. Um I even contemplating buying the collector's edition with the Venom statue and everything. I thought it was so cool. But I didn't. I just bought the regular game and I beat it. I played through it. I didn't do any of the side missions, but the story is phenomenal. I love the story. Picks up right where the first one left off, and it's great. But the damn combat is exactly the same as the first game. They now people, if a million people listen to this, a bunch of people will probably attack me for
disagree.
that because they did add a few things here and there, but it's not enough to make it, to improve upon the last game. It's just mash square, dodge with circle, mash square, shoot some webs with R1, and just rinse and repeat every battle you get into. I feel like I didn't want to do any of the side missions, whereas in the first game, I like 98% of that game. I think I just had a few backpacks or something to go uh, collect in the first game, and I even bought all the DLC and did all that, and because I loved it. Um, but towards the end, it was getting super repetitive, and in the second game, even street level random criminals you come up to on the street, you're fighting. I feel like some of them are like super overpowered to where you're fighting a group of people for at least 5 minutes, and in game time, that's a long freaking time. It's like God, these guys ain't like dead yet or knocked out yet. Whatever Spider-Man does to them. Um, there were boss fights that were pretty cool. The spectacle of it, like in the opening mission, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's awesome. Um, and as the game goes on, though, as you're fighting other characters like Venom, Craven, all this stuff, you are like their health. I'm trying to get around it without spoiling anything, but their health takes so long to come down, and it's just a bunch of things you have to do over and over and over again to finally beat the boss, and it just gets old. So by the time I was in that final mission, the final boss fight, I'm like, God damn, is this thing over yet? Come on, let's get this thing over with. Um, I'm happy I finished it. I'm happy I saw the story and played through it, but it is definitely a disappointment for me in 2023. Um, moving on to my number 2 disappointment, Starfield. As much hype and everything that was pushed with this game, I expected to be so much better than it was. Um, like when you're on a planet in an actual community, it's pretty cool. The different people and everything, um, and each community is fine. It's great. Dialogue's cool, but I've never dove deep into the Fallout 4s, Fallout 3s, and not Elden Ring, Elder Scrolls. But when you're in a cutscene talking to somebody, it's the same like face front on with the camera. There's nothing else going on, and it's just their face moving like this, just talking and saying lines like this. And it's like, dude, this is like 2015, 2010 right here. Can we get something new at least? The ship customization was cool. It was really, really, really in depth, but you can't do much in space. You can take off from a planet, which is a cutscene. You can't even fly off the planet yourself. And you're flying around in space above this planet that you feel like you're just in a box. You can't really go anywhere, do anything. You're
Interesting.
just in a box. Occasionally, there'll be some enemies that come up or other NPCs that aren't necessarily enemies. You'll fight enemies sometimes, and then just random interactions up there that's not really great. Um, so the one thing that game had going for it was a space travel, and they didn't even nail that because I feel like all the other gameplay was just uh, rehashed from older Bethesda games. I won't
They need to
beat that one.
update their engine. Yeah, I'm looking
Yes,
for something new, fresh.
yes, exactly. Final Fantasy Final Fantasy 16 was a big disappointment for me as well. There's a lot of hype around it. I was super hyped. I bought the $100 edition from Best Buy, brought it home, played it. I liked the little map that it came with. I got into it. Cinematics, amazing, great, one of the best of the year, probably the best of the year. But gameplay bad, combat bad. But no, it was boring. I couldn't get into it. Like the long stretches of road you have to run down to get to the next city or whatever. Super boring. I didn't feel like fighting any enemies that were out there, so I just ran past them because combat was kind of boring for me. Um, and yeah, Final Fantasy 16 Game Awards was boring. You can go back and listen to that episode me and Old School did a couple weeks ago talking about the Game Awards. Um, just getting too corporate for me, I think. The fun of being a gamer has kind of left the show, and it's just musical performances and celebrities and stuff I don't really care about. I don't want to see in my game shows and stuff, game award shows. And two more. The Jets. My Jets disappointed me after being so amped up before the season. Damn it. The Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers goes down 4 plays into the first game of the season, out for the season. Done. Zach Wilson, backup quarterback who was a starter the previous 2 or 3 years, came in, stunk up the joint, did absolutely horrible, got benched halfway through the season. Then they brought him back out because the third string quarterback didn't do anything better. They released the third string quarterback, put Zach Wilson back in. He had a good game the first game back, and then the next game after that completely sucked. Aaron Rodgers is out the rest of the year. Rumor is Zach Wilson is getting traded after the season, and hopefully they bring in a better backup to Aaron Rodgers who will hopefully be healthy all year next year and bring us to the Super Bowl, hopefully. And then my last disappointment, AEW. I had high hopes for AEW a few years ago when they first started. I I don't wish any ill will on AEW. I want them to succeed. I want them to be a phenomenal company and put on great shows. I want to be a fan of them. I just can't do it right now. The storytelling is not great. There's so many matches. They're pitting people against each other. It's like, okay, what's the feud here? Why are they mad at each other? It's like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, this is just a dream match we're putting together. Every match is a dream match. No, it's not. Half the people that they introduce, half the people they bring in, lights go out, lights come back on, and all of a sudden there's some dude standing up at the entranceway like it's a surprise. I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Why do I care? Um, so yeah, I hope they do better in 2024, but there's just been a disappointment for me for 2023. But that's my last one. So take it how you will, internet.
I had to look that up. I didn't know what AEW was.
All Elite Wrestling.
Thank you.
How dare you not know that?
Yeah.
I don't think I've really ever watched wrestling. I did watch UFC, uh, and I watch a lot of the big fights for like Israel. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's
Adesanya.
black dude in UFC.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I-
I like
Israel
him. He's one of
Adesanya.
my guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got in him thanks to the redheaded Irishman or whatever. I forget his name already. Who's the big Irishman? Conor
Conor
McGregor.
McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got that really hyped with Mayweather, and I kind of jumped in a little bit and saw that, but don't really get into sports much other than that. So I'm definitely like a level 1 knowledge base for all that stuff. Uh, but I'll quickly shift because I've only got 2 items realistically for disappointing of 2023. I haven't had much time to game. I've been a busy man. But my most hyped game for 2023 was Final Fantasy 16, and I did enjoy playing it. I did enjoy the new spin, the looks, the try. But the biggest fallback for me with Final Fantasy is I didn't really feel any role playing RPG mechanics. Uh, and it did get repetitive, the fighting. And not really gonna say much more than that because I know the legend is gonna throw the book at it. I think for 16. Uh, but the saga continues. Hopefully, there's a Final Fantasy 17, and that's what I hope for.
Oh, you know there will be.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
And the next one is kind of controversial because we were talking about kind of multiplayer games at the beginning of this and microtransactions, but I'm always looking for that next particular game to play with the boys every Friday night for 3 hours. Nothing crazy, nothing big, just something new, interesting that I can take a few hours, just kind of hang out and play a game. Uh, but the day before seemed like a cool, hyped game, uh, and it got destroyed this year. I don't
Mhm.
even think they really released the game, but they hyped me up with the trailer originally, and I had forgot it existed, and then it came out and it just bombed. So really disappointed to hear some really good ideas and good thoughts that just didn't get implemented, maybe with the right team or right people. I don't really know the controversy, but uh, really wish that one would have succeeded. Because The Last of Us multiplayer is not coming out either, which
Yep.
is fine because they do phenomenal with their single player games.
I was not hyped for that to begin with.
Yeah, stick with your stuff. I'm cool with that. But again, I'm just looking for a little sample of something just to jump in with the boys, and that's really all I got. So take it away, legend.
All right. So I'm actually going to start. I'm not going to start with my disappointing games. I'm actually going to start with disappointing things and events. So the first one, obviously for me, it's well, not I shouldn't say obviously because it's not obvious. Um, the first one for me is going to be the video game awards. Like Bildo said earlier, we did the show a couple of weeks ago, and it it was just boring. He fell asleep at one point. Um,
I did
the
too.
the 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 presenters were rushed, given like 4 seconds to give an acceptance speech. Had a lot of the celebrities that just looked like they didn't want to be there or didn't really know what was going on. For fuck's sake, they had Gonzo from the Muppets. You know what I mean? Like that was a weird skit with him and Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
But we've heard enough about that. Um, the next disappointment for me was Analog, the company Analog, and this
Ah.
year they had the constant revision releases of the Analog Pocket. So a couple years ago, when they first released the Analog Pocket, it was, hey, this is a limited thing, blah 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 blah. Like, get it before it sells out. Okay, cool. People bought it, scalping it, whatever. That's what people do. Then all of a sudden, we got a new color variation of, hey, we got these Analog Pockets in this color. This is a limited edition. Get them before they sell out. Okay, great. Then like 3 weeks later, hey, we happen to have some more of these. Get them before they sell out. And
Yeah.
really, for me, it's just that creation of artificial scarcity. People FOMO's a real thing. People hear stuff like that, they want to jump on it immediately, or they run to eBay. Man, I wasn't able to get it through the sale. Okay, I guess I'll pay this guy $700. What man? What the hell? Like, no, don't support scalpers, man. Don't
Yeah.
fucking do that shit.
They got
Um,
a ton of them sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
yeah, for sure. So
I
the
do
other
want
thing
one.
is, I would get one eventually too, and I actually had one in my cart when they had like the third or fourth sale, but the shipping on that was just ridiculous, man. It was
Oh,
like
really?
$25. It was like $25 to ship it to me, and I'm in Philadelphia, and I'm like they're somewhere in the United States. It's not even like I'm overseas or anything, but I
That
was
makes
like,
sense.
damn, like a default rate of $25 to ship. I was like, nah, man. Like
Yeah.
if it's coming like next day air or something, okay, that's fine. But if you're just sending that shit like priority mail, nah, man, there's not cool.
Yeah.
Um, so I felt like in 2023, and this is something that I hope dies very quickly. I felt like we've seen the rise of drama YouTube,
Ah,
meaning like every video that pops up in your algorithm seems to be some type of drama, negative, clickbait type of video. And it's insane to me how many views these people are getting for shitting on other people, talking trash, whatever it is they're doing. A lot of non-factual information being spread. Um, you know, don't want to mention any channels in particular, but there's one that I actually unsubscribed to because uploaded videos for like 9 weeks of one specific company doing the same thing over and over. Like we got it with the first three videos. Like
mm-hmm.
what like why do you keep continuing to do this and to do this and to do this? And the only thing I could think of is to get those clicks. You
Yep.
want to get those clicks, you want to get those views. And
Get that
to me
money, baby.
that's just very disingenuous. Um, and granted, man, we're on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like the reality of us meeting viewers, listeners is very slim.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the type of person where I'm not going to cut you any bullshit, man. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to shoot straight with you. I don't care if you end up not liking my videos, if you don't watch my channel. I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to be truthful about it. There's never going to be a time where I'm going to upload something for dramatics or give you a clickbait to get that view
Yeah.
and lead you astray. That's just not how I roll. But you know, hey, if drama YouTube is your thing, hey man, congrats. You know, keep watching it, I guess. Um, the next thing I got is hackers targeting the gaming industry. So we saw earlier this year the
That's
leak of
yeah, that
Grand Theft Auto
irritates
6.
me.
And
Yeah.
just recently Activision. I like leave these people alone, man. You know what I mean? Like there's no like it's not funny, it's not cool.
Did Activision get hacked?
Yep. Oh no, was it Activision? It was
I know
not
Insomniac recently got hacked.
Insomniac. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
what I meant. Not Activision.
Okay.
Um, and
Those are
it's
my
just really
boys too.
it's really sad that like a lot of this stuff is just getting leaked. Like people are hacking and leaking just again for clicks and for views and all this stuff. So I think as gaming influencers, not you and I, um, but some of the bigger channels, I think they did the right thing by not covering that. They
Mm-hmm.
mentioned what happened, but they didn't show off any of the stuff that got leaked. I typically feel when stuff like that happens, it needs to be extinguished ASAP. Just boom. Like, don't even mention it. Don't even talk to it. Talk about it. That way it doesn't spread.
I
Yep.
want to be the bad guy here real quick. I did go and look for it. Grand Theft Auto 6? Nah, I couldn't care. All these other companies, Activision, nah, I really couldn't care. But they hacked my Insomniac, and I I don't even care about the Marvel stuff or anything, but it's Ratchet and Clank for me. Like I love Ratchet and Clank. Sunset Overdrive was an Xbox exclusive. Hellblade is now an Xbox exclusive. I hate that, but I guess I'll just buy an Xbox. But uh, I got some good news. I'm super happy. It seems like Insomniac's doing really well uh, with the games that are going to come out. But what I don't like is I don't like it coming from hackers because now I know it's going to be years before I even think about it again. But the data breaches for like personal info and stuff like that, that's just wrong, man, because that turns people's lives upside down.
Yep.
Yeah, and that, if nobody knows, that's a federal crime. So if and when these people get caught, they're gonna be doing some hard time there. So any hackers listening, just stop, please.
Please, and
Um,
don't hack me.
Do good
yeah,
things.
yeah, and
Ha-
definitely don't hack me or dox me, because it.
ha-
I
hack.
I promise you, it won't end well for you. So, and
They need
Bildo
to
knows
hack
what
the
I'm
lottery
talking about.
system and like distribute lottery winnings. Like when it gets to like a billion, just they need to hack the system for like 100 million people or a million people and just give them like $1,000 each.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
the
nice.
Distribution of like the modern day Robin Hood. We're gonna take this
government will
pool
be
of
taking
money
it
and
back though.
distribute.
In the digital age, they'll just go in your account and take it back.
Bitcoin, baby. You can't take Bitcoin. Dogecoin, you know what I'm saying? Safe moon, you know.
So next up, I've got on my disappointments was actually the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft.
Yep.
Uh, Not a fan of that, man. I'm not a fan of monopolies. Like, I'm not even a big fan of console exclusives, to be completely honest with you. I I would love for people on Xbox to be able to play The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, all of these games that are exclusive to Sony. But now Xbox has a plethora of
I,
games that are going
I
to be
disagree.
console
I disagree.
exclusive.
No, man, I disagree. I
How's
think
that?
that's healthy. I think it's healthy. It's just like everything else. Yes, it seems like they're a monopoly, but when you look at PlayStation, all their exclusives, dude, like they're already a monopoly. So now that Xbox has some of monopoly, now that brings some competition back to the consoles, and we as the consumers can hopefully benefit uh between some better games and better consoles at better prices, I would think. Uh
I don't think we're going to get better prices, but what I don't like is the Activisions were always third party games. So the first party games from Sony, it's not like those were available at one point to
that's
Xbox and
fair.
Nintendo
That's fair.
consumers.
Yeah.
Um, so that's like my whole thing. What I'm getting at. So now it's like we saw the drama with Call of Duty. It was, oh, you're not going to PlayStation's not going to have Call of Duty, and then I guess they were able to renew a license for like the next 10 years or something, whatever it is. But there's so many other games like Crash Bandicoot, for instance, that used to be a PlayStation One exclusive,
Mhm.
um, and then they they
Do
they,
they
they
have
made it.
that? I thought that was a Naughty Dog license.
Crash Bandicoot is Activision now.
Naughty Dog don't have that license anymore?
Mm-mm,
Oh my god. What about
no.
Spyro? That's Activision too,
Uh,
right?
Yep, Spyro also. Um, so the
Oh, you're
and
killing
I
me
could be
now.
wrong here. So I think the move went from when the Crash Bandicoot trilogy HD remastered or whatever it came out. I think that's when the new developer took over for that, or the new publisher rather. And the same
Xbox
thing with
owns
Spyro.
Crash. Yep.
Yeah, so that's that's pretty disappointing. Not not that I'm one of those guys that's playing Crash Bandicoot or something, but if your only system is a PlayStation and you love Crash Bandicoot, now you're gonna have to get an Xbox. Um,
Mm.
and and right now this is all speculation. It's like 90% speculation. Um, but I don't know. Maybe they just, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's keep releasing it multi-platform and do whatever you do. Because even people, if you have a Nintendo Switch, Crash Bandicoot came to the Nintendo Switch in addition to the Spyro trilogy. Um, you got a Nintendo Switch, man. You're not going to be able to play Crash anymore if it's exclusive to Microsoft.
Yep.
See, now I have to
Um,
buy an Xbox, which then I won't bitch too
see,
much because then I can play Hellblade when it comes out.
that's where they
Hellblade
got you,
2.
man. You see, it's the hook, line, and sinker. So I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have both consoles. So to me, it doesn't really matter. But like, there's people out there who are struggling to get a PlayStation 5 because they just can't afford it. There's people struggling to get a new Xbox. It's just sometimes you can only get one or the other. And unfortunately, we're moving to a time where you have to have both in order to fulfill your gaming needs if you get down like that. Um, so wrapping this up here, the last non-gaming, well, I guess this is kind of gaming disappointment, is there's been no mention of the Elden Ring DLC. I
Mm.
thought for sure at the VGAs we were going to see something. We were going to see some type of, hey, release date or preview or something. We got nothing. But let me go ahead and bang this out real quick. So game wise, Starfield. Starfield was a big disappointment to me. I if anybody played the game Outer Worlds, I
Mhm.
felt like Starfield felt like Outer Worlds, but I already felt like Outer Worlds felt like Fallout in space. So it's kind of like a 6 degrees of separation kind of thing. So Starfield
Would you
felt like
recommend
Outer
playing Outer
Worlds.
Worlds?
I thought Outer Worlds was great.
Okay.
I think it's literally like Fallout in space.
It's a backlog that I'd like to try. Unfortunately, I've just never picked it up, but it does pique my interest to try.
Yeah, it's really good if you're into those type of games, man. It's pretty solid. I would definitely recommend it. Um, and then for the elephant in the room, man, we're gonna talk about Final Fantasy 16. This is my biggest disappointment of 2023.
Yeah.
So, Alex, I hope you're listening, because this is dedicated to you, bud. So, for me, I thought the demo showed a lot of promise. That demo came out, I played it, I was hype. Um, Then I started playing the game, and about 15 hours in, that dread started to build that there's nothing much more to the game. It's exactly the same as it was in the beginning, all the way through the end. So pretty much, it's just like battles that take too long, in my opinion,
Yep.
using the same move sets over and over. Um, you know, I a lot of the
Yeah.
powers a lot of the powers I didn't even use because like the setup that I already had was fine.
Yep.
Um, I didn't die once in my entire playthrough, which
Oh,
it's
really? Kudos to you,
yeah.
brother. I did.
Wow. Yeah, I did
I
too.
see. I to me, I thought that was insane that I didn't die because I for sure, even like at the final boss, man, I was just like, man, for sure this dude's gonna kill me. Nope. Um, but I felt the pacing was pretty bad as well. I felt like
Yeah.
you're in a boss battle, and then all of a sudden you finish that frenetic boss battle, and now like you got like 2 hours of dialogue and scenes going
Cutscenes.
on, man.
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa.
I
And
do
you know,
appreciate that though in a world where we don't have that. To, to give them that a little bit because we don't get that anymore and we used to actually get some cool cinematics, but maybe not
yeah,
so long.
yeah. And I feel like today, in today's age, attention span is pretty much non-existent.
Y-
And and,
Who
and
has attention span anymore?
and right now, I'll be honest, man. Like that's exactly what happened with me because I was just like, man, yeah, my adrenaline's pumped because I just finished this big ass battle, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
and
Slam on the
then
brakes.
and then you're just going and going and going. Like there was a couple of times, dude, where I actually fell asleep because I was just like, man, are these motherfuckers gonna shut up? And I'm just so other complaints, man, was there was no party. You know, I think, you know, so I've seen some people argue
Yes, dude.
that
Yes.
having the two AI controlled characters follow you around as a party. Nah, man, I'm sorry. That's not a party.
That doesn't scream
You had
Final Fantasy to me at all.
no, it doesn't. You had no way of interacting with any of them. No equipment, no strategies, no skill tree. I mean, I guess like Torgal had one, you know, but it didn't really do much, and there was no clear indicator of how it leveled. Um,
Yeah.
Another, and this is probably the biggest one for me. There was no elemental or status effects.
Mm.
To me this led to extremely boring combat. Every battle boiled down to fighting a stagger bar and chipping away at health slowly. The only strategy was to find the moves that accomplish this quickly, and
Basically.
that's how I felt myself playing the game. I was like, all right, how can I get this person to stagger and do a lot of damage as quick as possible?
Yep.
um, you know, kind of piggybacking on that. There's no builds or tactics. Like I played the game the exact way from the start to the end of it. It worked for probably, I don't know, like 90% of the battles. Like if you're fighting a boss or a
Yeah.
bigger guy, you just do the same thing until you get the stagger mark, and then do all your power moves. You know, rinse and repeat. That was that was pretty much it. Um, I kind of didn't. I kind of felt the loot system and crafting system were kind of useless. Um,
Very useless. I didn't buy anything.
you know, like you get Excalibur, which is like this strong ass badass sword, and then like the next chapter you could just buy a better weapon. So it's like
Yeah.
what's the point? Um, kind of piggybacking off this too, like equipment was useless. Like literally none of the weapons mattered in the game. They really didn't. I they progressively probably add a little bit of stagger damage throughout, not much, but it's the same thing with the armor, but with defense. No abilities, no special features. You just get new skin and a little bit more chip damage. Um, the story itself, I thought it was smarter than it was. The character arcs I felt could have been explored a little bit more. I never really had any emotional investment or attachment to any of the characters, and I
Sid got
really,
me a little bit.
yeah, and
Sid,
that's what I was about to say. I think I enjoyed Sid more than I did Clive.
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, and that was to me. I don't think you should care about a an NPC outside of the main character, I should say you shouldn't care about an NPC more than you do the main character.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because some of them are good if they're well written, like yeah, and then they die or they just move on or they whatever. But yeah, when it overshadows the main story, main character, it's tough. But Sid was definitely the only one that I really felt any kind of banger
same,
story attachment to.
same. Like Clive, I couldn't give any less of a fuck about Clive, and his little brother or whatever. I couldn't I couldn't care less.
I
Yeah.
hoped he
Um,
died, and there's no spoiler now, but I was really hoping for like a traumatic death scene for him. I think his brother truly deserved to die. As
yeah,
like yes, he came back, but then at the end, he was either going to be a sacrifice to be stronger for his brother and whatever. But no, like they just pushed him in and let him come back to life. I mean, because he
I
basically struggled through the whole gameplay, like oh, I'm gonna die, I'm get really affected, and then it's like oh, everything's fine, we win.
yeah, yeah, and that was so stupid. I really wish at the beginning, like when he got killed by Clive, when you don't know it's Clive,
Hmm.
um, I wish they would have kept that, man. They would have kept him dead and like let that guilt eat Clive. Like the whole
Hmm.
time he's just that whole story is just eating away at him. But I don't know. Like to me, they dropped the ball on that. But this is going to be a spoiler here. So sorry if anybody hasn't played this yet. Um, I'm giving you the spoiler warning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So the ending, Clive dies and that's it.
Mm.
Wow. Like no closure for anything. Like nothing. He just dies. Everybody's just kind of like,
Oh
okay.
wow.
Um, there's like the pregnant chick. Um, and I guess you're supposed to care about her because she's pregnant. And I guess the insinuation is that Clive knocked her up. You
Mm.
know, um, that ending just like it felt like somebody ran at full speed and just kicked me right in the balls because I was getting frustrated with the game to begin with because it became so boring and so tedious. I was dying to finish it and I was like, bro, we're going to get like a banger fucking ending. I can't wait. And it was just like, um,
Yeah, Final Fantasy
so,
12.
so for me, man, that's why I didn't really care for it. Now again, that's my opinion. I know there might be some people listening who absolutely love the game. I have a good friend who absolutely loves the game, and we've gotten into plenty of debates about it. But it's cool because that's his opinion. That's my opinion. He doesn't hate me for it. I don't hate him for it. So if anybody's listening and you want to hop on YouTube, let me know in the comments, man. Hey, listen, I enjoyed Final Fantasy 16 because ABC, XYZ, whatever it is.
Real quick, did your buddy play previous Final Fantasy games, or was 16 his
No,
kind of first
he
introduction?
he's played them all. Yeah,
Interesting.
he's played them all, and he even like Final Fantasy 15, which he tried to get me into, and I played Final Fantasy 15 to a point, and I was
That
just
was a
like,
drag
nah,
too.
man.
It was
Yeah,
rad.
I was like, I can't do this. Like this shit getting in the car and driving around and nah,
In
man.
all fairness, 15 is better than 16. And I didn't like the boy band situation, but
Wow.
I think 15 is better than 16. Uh,
But 10 is better than all of them.
10 is the goat.
10,
Uh,
10 is
12 is
objectively
cool,
the best Final
but
Fantasy.
yeah, I didn't get into anything before 10 for my Final Fantasy uh, fanism or whatever you want to call it. Uh, but I
I
played 10, and then we were talking about strategy that was missing, poison effects, and all that that was missing. When I played 10 and entered a boss fight, it got my ass handed to me, and I was like, man, I gotta level up. I gotta level up. I gotta do this. No, bro. You just need to understand how to use the strategy. Because I then played it almost to 100% and realized that this boss fight was actually a piece of cake if you knew what to do. It's like throwing a
yeah,
phoenix down on one of them. Like, it's an undead enemy, throw a phoenix down. The boss fight's easy. But if you don't do that and you don't think about it or know it or try new things, you get your ass handed to you. And I love those little things in the games that make it feel fresh every playthrough, or let me try this, or there's some strategy that make battles feel thought out. Uh, I didn't feel any thought out on 16. It was literally, like you said, get the same combat set moves and just how do I do it the fastest? That's it.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. And the previous Final Fantasy games that I've played the first one, I've played 3, which is really 6,
You
or
played
6,
Final
which is
Fantasy
really
1.
3. 1, yep, yep, the OG Final Fantasy.
I don't know how you
Um
go back that far, dude.
and then I played 7, I played 10, 10 2. I played a little bit of 13. I couldn't understand 13 that much. I do want to go back and play that though because I do hear that's a really good one.
I didn't play it
Um
like I want to, but I was hoping for a remaster or something.
mhm.
But no, but I do want to go back and actually play 13, 13.2, and 13.3, whatever that crazy mess is. But
So what I enjoyed about the turn-based Final Fantasy games is and you can make the argument too that oh well all you're doing is the same thing, you're just doing it in turn-based, you're button mashing. um I have to say no to that. I got to say that's not true. So you do need some sort of strategy in the turn-based game. So it's
oh
essentially
yeah,
like playing chess. You if you have a poison spell and you find out that the boss is immune to poison and he's got a ton of HP, you poison that bad boy and then you keep hitting him to whittle him down, and it's just like you have to play strategic, man.
real quick, random thought because I was looking this up as you were talking. You own an Xbox Series X. You recently played some games that the Xbox Series X boosted in performance.
13 is one of them.
Oh God, I guess I gotta get an Xbox Series X. I hate to say it, but you just can't. PS3's architecture is so they fucked up. Be
Yeah, and that bothers me so much, man, because I've got a huge PS3 collection, and I do try to go back and play some of the PS3 games, and it is getting harder and harder after you're playing like the PS5, and you got buttery frame rate of 60 frames, 1440p, 4K. Going back to the PS3, it's just running at 30 frames, even less. And I know it scales. The PS3 scales to 1080p, but most games render at 720. Um, if you got the right TV for it, thankfully I still have an old one of my older HD TVs that the PS3 looks pretty good on. Outside of that, man, it's Xbox is killing it as far as the backwards compatibility.
Was that your last disappointment?
Yeah, yeah, that was it, man. That like 6 hour monologue there.
No, that was good stuff, dude. I hope your buddy listens and you guys could get on a video and hash it out.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll bring him on the pod one day
Hell
because
yeah.
I'm buying
he's
an
got some
Xbox Series X while we're on stream.
as we as we speak. Wow, look at that, man.
Jeez.
It's on sale for 350. I think that's a really good bargain. To be fair, I
Oh,
don't
that
think
Yeah,
is
it'll
good.
go back up after Christmas, so I've been debating it for a little bit. Uh,
That is
at
really good.
350, I mean, I just bought two PS5s at that price with disc. I mean, you just can't do that. So I guess now's the time. Unless you guys want to give me one of yours.
Ah, no, it's cool. I like mine. All right, what we're looking forward to most in 2024. I'll go first, gentlemen. Uh, I'm looking forward to finally, hopefully, the Switch 2 reveal. Not to say that it's going to be called the Switch 2, but the successor to the Switch. Nintendo always comes out with these crazy innovations for each console they do, um, or they create, and I'm interested to see what they do next. And I'm
Wii
not
U
a
sucked.
we I was not a fan of Wii, yes, but it was a crazy innovation. You got to admit.
They do
Um,
actually innovate. I appreciate that.
I'm not a huge Nintendo gamer. Like I have a ton of games up here above me, and I love playing Nintendo games like Tears of the Kingdom and new Mario's when they come out. Um, but
You buy a
I'm
Switch for Zelda and Mario.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not a huge Nintendo fan, but I love seeing what they do, and I hope they're around forever, and I hope they just keep on the track they're on with all their first party titles because they're all awesome. Um, What's next? Let me see. More info on GTA 6. I want to see more. I know we're probably not going to get it within the next 6 months or so, but hopefully towards the end of the year, moving into 2025, we see maybe a second trailer, maybe a little like demo, like, hey, this is what we got going on. I think that would be sick because that is my most anticipated game of the last like 10 years after I finished GTA 5. So I really want to see more GTA 6. Um, the past few months here on the channel, you guys may have noticed I've gotten back into Pokemon card collecting, which I thought I'd never, ever, ever, ever do. But it's been super fun for me, especially having Elena by my side, doing it with her. Just diving back into that world. So I'm looking forward to getting more uh, Pokemon collecting going. Paldean Fates comes out end of January. I'm looking forward to that. I already got 2 Pokemon Center ETBs on pre-order. Um, so you're going to see some openings on those on that set coming out next year. Um, and gaming wise, I hope to see a new uh, online multiplayer game come out. Um, I was big into Call of Duty for the last decade or more. I was big into Fortnite here and there. I go through my phases on Fortnite. Um, but I want something to come out that's so awesome and phenomenal that'll make me that'll make me forget about those two and get into this.
I
Call of
agree.
Duty's too microtransaction filled. Fortnite's cool, but I just feel like it's getting old for me. So I want to see a new multiplayer game come out that I get on, like Luke said before, or Rhino said before, get on with your boys and hang out
Who's
and
Luke?
just play a few hours. I don't know. It's my Christmas hamster behind me right here. Um,
Luke
uh,
Perry, are you watching 90210?
No
yeah,
one's going Luke Skywalker. Come on, guys.
yes. And the flip
By
side
your
of
father.
the flip side of the online game that I want to see more single player focused games with no microtransactions whatsoever. That's why I bought my PS5 because they're the kings of it and queens, whatever you want to call it, but they're the best at it. I love it. I love those single player, especially as I get older. I love the single player story focused games. Um, and last one, I would like Marvel to get back on track with their movies and TV shows. All of since Avengers Endgame, I feel like it's been on a downward slope. They have a like Loki is the best show they got going for them now. A few more. Uh, there's a few more in there that are like, it's pretty cool, but nothing really grips me like that those first 3 phases of movies that they had. So I want to see them, kick it into high gear in 2024 and release some banger shows. Um, and I think they're on kind of a hiatus now because they realize there's a problem, so they're going to revamp some stuff. And with Kang being out now, because the actor that played him is like guilty of like beating some woman or something. I don't know, but yeah, I hope they revamp and turn things around. Rhino, it's your turn. Or do you want old school to
Hey,
go? You ready?
I'll jump in case I get bailed because I'm gonna try to switch to the PC.
Okay.
Uh, Stuff that I'm looking for 2024. My list is small. They're short and they're sweet. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, come on, man, it's gonna be great. And they're adding a map I just heard, like a world map. Yeah. Uh, Cyberpunk 2077. I want to play it. Like now they got the updates and everything hopefully all ironed out. I think it's the year to play Cyberpunk 2077, even though someone else has played it more times than I can count my fingers.
I I
Uh,
I like that goal.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is more of a anime game. Super excited to get multiple characters. I don't know how well it's gonna do, so I'll kind of be watching it to see, but I'm excited. I've been waiting for that for years. Dragon's Dogma 2, interested to see where that one goes. Didn't play the first one, but it got enough to get a second one, so it's got to be good. So I
Yep.
think it might be a good time to jump into there. Hellblade 2, come on. How can you not play Hellblade as a gamer?
I probably won't.
It's just
Because I never played the
really,
first one.
really good. Oh, God, I loved it. I'm going to play it again. Then I'm going to jump into the second one. But now I got to buy an Xbox Series X, which is at Best Buy right now for $381.14. Some future shit that probably won't happen, but I'm super excited for. Thanks to the Activision conversation we had earlier, I was looking forward to a Guitar Hero Rock Band comeback. Yeah, I'm that guy. I play
I'm
Guitar
down
on
for that.
Expert. I love it. I don't really do the token anymore, but I'll still rock it out. And then I had a survey maybe a year ago, 2 years ago. It's been a while, so I don't even know. But I had a survey from Crystal Dynamics about the Legacy of Kain series and what our opinions were. I think over 100,000 people actually did the survey. It was a lot more than anybody expected. So if we could get some news on that, bring Kain and Raziel back or something, like give us a new story in that world, do some more world building. Don't do the Nosgoth crap that you tried. Ugh. Like give us like some single player story. Like the voice acting in that's incredible. I still go back every year and watch like the first cutscene of Soul Reaver 1. God, I think that's where he gets his wings ripped off. Amazing. If you haven't seen it, watch the 4K remake or whatever. Listen to it. The acting, the sound, just the whole video is incredible. So yeah, some more Legacy of Kain would be.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love the Legacy of Kain series. That's that would be an excellent remake, I think.
Yeah, remake, new game. I don't care. Give me something. Like Tomb Raider's had its time. Now it's time to move on. I might have to swap here, so I might miss something, but I will be on in a flash.
All right.
All right.
Old school, what you got?
So this list is pretty small, so thankfully. So the first one is I'm looking forward to what WWE is going to be doing in 2024.
Dude, yeah.
Right now WWE is just white hot, dude.
Yeah.
And listen, I am so looking forward to the Royal Rumble. I
Yes.
love the Royal Rumble. That's so it's a tie between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania for my favorite pay-per-views of the year. Um looking forward to looking forward to the Royal Rumble. And then I'm looking forward to WrestleMania. So I don't know, man. I'm in Philly. WrestleMania is in Philly. There's going to be a lot of stuff going down.
Yep.
So I might have to go and check some stuff out, man. I, I
Hell yeah.
don't I don't think I'm going to get WrestleMania tickets just based on the price.
Mm.
So the other thing I'm looking forward to is seeing what the modding and the electric engineers in the retro gaming community are going to come out with in 2024. The past couple of years, we've gotten some really cool HDMI mods, some really cool RGB mods, some really cool homebrew hacking, all that stuff for all the retro consoles. These guys are very talented, and I'm looking forward to what they got coming out in 2024. Um, I think also 2024 is going to be the year of the remake. So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more games, a lot more remakes being announced. Some of the ones that I hope get announced: Chrono Trigger, Parasite Eve, Secret of Evermore. Just some of them old school banger RPGs. Like bring them to current day, man, please.
Yeah.
And the last thing is hopefully we get that Elden Ring DLC announcement,
Whew.
man.
Hell yeah. It's funny you bring up WWE, and I completely forgot to mention I'm going to a Monday Night Raw when they come to Raleigh at March 18th. So I'm stoked
Yeah,
on that.
man.
I'll be
That
there in
that
attendance.
that is going to be so much fun.
Hell,
And
2 weeks before WrestleMania.
dude, and I guarantee you're going to get the pyro. Cuz
Oh,
I remember when we went to SmackDown, they didn't have any pyro that night.
yeah.
So I would guarantee you on that Monday Night Raw you're going to have pyro.
Oh, I hope so. It's gonna be so sick. I hope I see CM Punk again. I know we saw him at AEW that one time, but I feel like
Yeah.
WWE CM Punk is so much better than AEW CM Punk.
So speaking of AEW, man, that show that we went to, one of my buddies I was talking to, he was saying that like AEW is probably like the best live show, like the best live wrestling show. And I was like, nah, man. I was like, dude, me and my homeboy went, and this was his very first wrestling show and live wrestling show, and that shit was trash.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it was just like the crowd in Raleigh, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, like everybody in that fucking crowd was dead. Nobody gave a fuck.
No.
And, and Tony Khan kept coming out and, hey guys, we're big match coming up next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even the wife was like, Jesus Christ, how many fucking times is this guy gonna come out?
Yeah. The two highlights of that night was seeing CM Punk, obviously, and then seeing Sting. I never thought, like, I knew he was in AEW, but like I never put two and two together when we were going that I might see him. But I was super stoked to see Sting, like the freaking icon.
Yeah, that was badass.
Yeah.
I will admit that was pretty good. So what are some of the gaming goals you got for 2024? You got any?
Gaming goals. I have one gaming goal, um, and that is, and it's hard for me to come up with gaming goals, but my one is to finish Red Dead Redemption 2. That's
There you go.
my only gaming centric goal I have for 2024 is to finish that game. And I'm sure there'll be other ones that come up eventually, if new games are released. But yeah, that's the only one I got for that one so far.
Nice. You back with us, Rhino?
I don't think so.
Hello, can you hear
There
me?
you are.
There he is.
Mr. Mugatu is in the house.
I saw that. I was like, I hope that's Rhino letting in. Yo, what's your gaming goals of 2024? You have any?
Gaming goals. Yeah, I mean, realistically, was some of what I was including in 2024, which is like, I'm absolutely going to play Rebirth, like hands down, all the way through, and it better not disappoint like 16. Uh, and you know what? That might be the only actual goal, because I do want to try Grand Blue, Dragon's Dogma, and Hellblade. I don't know if Hellblade's coming out next year. But I do want to try Dragon's Dogma, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to excite me to play it. I don't know enough. And Grand Blue, it might be a disappointment. You know how games go nowadays. So realistically, man, get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and hope that it's just an enjoyable, immersive experience to continue me on the Final Fantasy VII game that I never played back in the day. So hopefully I can rewalk this path with the new visions that they're putting into it. I played Crisis Core, so I have a little bit of knowledge about Zack and Cloud and Sephiroth and all them. I've watched the movie. I forget the name of it already, but yeah, that play some Cyberpunk 2077 and
I want to finish that one too.
Get through the Witcher's DLC, which I have never played. I'm going to be trying to do that over Christmas break, but it may lead into 2024.
Nice. Yeah, I want to finish Cyberpunk 2077 as well. I completely glossed over that one.
Yeah, I definitely try it. Just to ride the back of anime, though, something more for 2024 is I need to see the new Miyazaki film, The Boy and the Heron, The Boy and the Heron. It's released in theaters now, but when it comes out in DVD or disc or whatever, 2024, I'll get it. And then Solo Leveling would be the only manga or manga that I've actually read all the way through, and that has started now, but will bleed into 2024. So I will be watching those, but I will be forcing the family to watch The Boy and the Heron.
Sit on the couch. We're watching it.
Family movie night, dad's movie pick.
Yo, what's y'all want to get into YouTube goals for 2024?
Yeah, man.
Man, so for me, for YouTube goals of 2024, I want to focus on better and more interesting content in videos. Not necessarily like switching up content altogether, but figuring out new ways on how to shoot things. And I get a lot of inspiration from like watching other YouTubers and stuff and getting ideas, but like different ways to shoot Pokemon opening videos or different type of gameplay videos to post where it's not just um
A playthrough.
yeah, playthrough with commentary over it. And I think a lot of people think those are kind of boring, and I do too. Like, if I'm the only time I really watch those is if it's a new game that just came out and I kind of want to decide if I want to get it or not. I'll watch like the first part of a playthrough, like, and I'll skip through it.
I agree.
I'll skip through it just to see like the gameplay and see what the mechanics are like, and then I'm like, either I want to buy it or I don't, and then I just get off the video and I don't watch it no more. So I kind of want, like, I do want to put out gaming content and stuff, but I want to figure out a better way to record and make videos about it that is kind of just better than what I've been doing. I want to get to 1,000 subs, which I'm at 630 something now. So I think I'll hit 1,000 about end of maybe February, early March, something like that. Being conservative, I think, hopefully. But I also want to increase those watch hours. So I need 4,000 watch hours, which if I start focus on creating better content and stuff, that'll hopefully shoot my watch hours way up. I'm at like 500 watch hours right now. But yeah, that's really my YouTube goals. Just figure out better ways to shoot stuff and have more interesting stuff to shoot. Really, see what I can take. See if I could take what I'm doing now and make it more interesting somehow. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. What about you, Rhino? You got any YouTube goals?
Yeah, I want to do the boring stuff. To be fair, I think YouTube is great for community, and then if you get big through community, it's awesome because being the dighead who's just all about drama, it ain't me either.
Mhm.
Like I ain't got time for all that. But work it's kind of a priority last year, and the new year 2024 is going to be even busier. I hope. So it's probably going to take a lot of my time. So the only goal I have is to actually put something on YouTube for 2024. More likely, some gameplay walkthrough. I've dived a little bit into The Witcher and modding just to kind of make it a little bit more fun, but I have crashed and failed that twice already, so I'll have to redo that. But that would make it easier to throw on Elgato or something to throw on the screen instead of trying to go through the PS5.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I just want to put some content on there, and I don't care if I only have 11 subscribers because all I need is 69. So if you guys want to support me, hit me up, give me the 69 subscribers, and I will be happy.
Nice. What about you, old school?
So for me, the main thing is start uploading content. I've got quite a bit in the pipe. I've been sitting on it for a while because I'm like, I don't know how I want to approach this, but I'm with you, man. I don't want to upload game footage and do like commentary in the background, and because that shit is boring. So I'm probably gonna end up doing more review style, or like my thoughts on like what this game was or whatever, and why I liked it, why I think other people should play it or should not play it, that kind of stuff.
I can tell you from the short conversations we have about certain games here that we are very enthusiastic about. You could probably lay down the pipe on some of these games for reviews and conversation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I do think it's getting closer to that point. I got a couple of consoles that I need to service. Probably gonna. I just did a whole bunch of servicing and refurbishing the past couple of months here, and I'm gonna take a little break from that. But sometime next year, I'm probably gonna be doing that, and I think I'm gonna record the way I refurbish consoles and the way I clean them and repaste them and do all that other stuff. I know there's tons of videos on YouTube for that, but if somebody was interested in seeing that, that'll be on my channel, and they could, oh man, I got a PS1, I wanted to take it apart, I wanted to clean it. I'm going to be doing videos like that.
Do you do any mods or upgrades or just updates to these consoles themselves?
It
Like
depends.
maybe I want a PS1, but I want it to be like play off SD card because the disc I has went dead.
Yeah. So I actually don't have an X station right now, but I plan on getting one. And I think once I finally get one, I'm gonna record that whole process and upload that. Because and again, like there's a ton of YouTube channels with that kind of content, but I'm kind of into that, and I think it's pretty interesting. And I think for any retro heads out there that are looking to, if they have like their childhood consoles and they're looking to service, a lot of times people don't want to take these apart in fear of breaking them because hey, I have a lot of nostalgia attachment to this Nintendo or this Xbox, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm no expert, you know what I mean? Like I'm not any type of electronical engineer or anything. This is just stuff that I've done for, the better part of 10 or 15 years. So I am familiar with a lot of the systems and, their hardware and like where they fail and what they, what needs to be cleaned out and stuff. One of the other things I'd like to do is probably a few live streams. I'd like to get on with you guys maybe and run some multiplayer, maybe play some like Call of Duty 4 or I don't know, just something and do like a little live stream or something.
We've been talking about that forever since we started YouTube almost.
Yeah. And I think now with with Rhino getting his Series X, I think the gates are going to
Game
open.
Pass.
Yeah, the gates are going to open for a lot more opportunities for that. And then the last thing is, man, I'd like to do a live pod where the Fall Damage Central live, and hopefully we could get some watchers in there and get some conversation going and all that other stuff.
Dip
I
your
know
toe in.
I know
Again.
I'm not on cam. I know like my avatar is my persona, but
That's okay, buddy.
maybe for this live stream I jump on cam and you guys can see my ugly mug.
Oh, yo, how about
Dude,
if I hit
keep us
1,000
guessing and run
subscribers? If we hit 1,000
Oh.
subscribers, we'll do a live stream and Old School reveal his face.
But see, if I reveal my face, man, there's a good possibility I'm gonna scare away a lot of people. So that 1,000 is gonna drop down to like 200.
Like, oh shit, get away.
I remember this guy from my sleep. Oh my god.
Dude, that's funny as hell. Oh, that sounds awesome. I can't wait, man. With the only live episode of the pod we ever did was the very first one.
Yeah.
And I feel like we might have came a long way since.
Let's 2024 like put a commitment in to like have like every Friday I generally get on with the boys. Let's have a night where we do like a live stream game session and really just kind of test the field with something.
Oh, that'd be dope.
That way, we're obviously entertaining. We're going to be hopefully entertaining with the gameplay as well. But it also gives us some bonding time as like hangout session bros and just build a community that everybody can hang out with and kind of have fun.
Hell yeah. I'm totally down for that.
Because with live, people might jump in for 5 minutes while they're cooking dinner and like watching and like, cool. And then they'll jump out, or then someone else will jump in, 20 minutes down the road. So they don't have to commit to the whole thing, but they can jump in, still have a little fun, little conversation and jump out.
Yeah, man, I like it.
Who's jamming on a keyboard? What the fuck is going on?
I'm trying to remember my password for Best Buy so I can put in this order for.
For the Xbox.
I wasn't joking.
It's funny. I actually just canceled my Game Pass subscription, so I'm gonna have to re-up on that when we get ready to do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy a pack of gummy worms or something that says free Game Pass for a month, and I'm gonna try to do
Oh,
those.
nice. Man, anybody have anything else? We're almost at 2 hours right here.
Yeah, man. No, I think we covered everything. Anybody who's still listening, I apologize for my long rants earlier, but I had some info I had to get out.
It's all good, man. Your passion shines through on the things you talk about that you enjoy. I like it. Okay.
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. This is going to come out after Christmas time, but we're recording it before Christmas, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas anyway. And have a safe and happy New Year, everyone listening. And look forward to seeing you guys in 2024.
Hey,
I'm gonna be lazy and just basically ditto what he said.
Ditto. Yeah, I appreciate the hell out of everybody that has watched over the past like 8 months. I started this channel in April. Gonna power on through 2024. Keep on going. Keep the content coming. Hope everybody joins in for the ride. It's been fun so far. It's going to continue to get more and more fun as we go on. And I might actually just throw this as an episode of the pod on Apple Podcasts, all that stuff, so people could listen along as well. But like, comment, subscribe down below. Our YouTube handles have been scrolling across the bottom this whole time, so go check out Old School and Rynoslater. Subscribe to them. Watch out for new content coming from them. I appreciate everybody listening. As Old School said, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. Appreciate everybody again, and we'll see you on the next one in 2024. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.